Good evening. Welcome to Epiphany Lutheran Church in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Kevin Barger, the Director of Music Ministry. And yes, I know it's not Halloween. I had a procedure to remove a spot on my face, and the face is healing. So I look a little Frankenstein-like, and maybe you think it's Halloween, but it's really not. So at any rate, this is Music Minute. We are looking at our hymns that we'll be using in worship tomorrow. And we'll start with our sending hymn, which is Go to the World. You might be thinking, oh, I don't know that I know that one. You might not. It's from the All Creation Sings supplement that we have. And it is sung to a tune that I bet you know, though. It's sung to the tune For All the Saints. Very familiar to us. The text was written by Sylvia Dunstan. You might remember from earlier conversations that she was a hymn writer and a United Church of Canada pastor who died very tragically of liver cancer at the age of 38. Alan Barthel was her mentor and collaborator, and with less than a week's notice, he commissioned a text built on the Great Commission from Matthew for the 1985 Emmanuel College in Toronto convocation. And it's written to Ralph Vaughan Williams' expansive Sine Nomine for All the Saints. That's usually what it's paired with, but it gives a really nice pairing, this text and tune together. So this is Go to the World. Such a fun hymn. That's a great arrangement. Next, we'll move to one of our communion hymns. We have several communion hymns tomorrow. There'll be a choir anthem at 11, and we have two hymns that we'll be singing at both services. One is I Come With Joy, which I'm not going to play for you tonight, but I'm going to play For Such a Time as This, also from the All Creation Sing supplement. And it's a short little one, and we've done it before, but it's a great little song. Jonathan Rudman was commissioned to write a song for the 2015 ELCA Worship Jubilee in Atlanta, which I actually was a participant in that particular Jubilee. It was called Called to Be a Living Voice, and it was anticipating the 500th anniversary of the Reformation, with emphasis on every Christian's call or vocation. So what was a very heavy influencer to the writing of this song was the killing of the Emanuel 9 earlier in 2015, and that gave urgency to one such ongoing call of how white Christians can use their privilege, our privilege, to disrupt systemic racism. This is an adaptation of Esther, chapter 4, verse 14. The song continues to ask, into what reforming time of change are we called today? And how appropriate is that for us now? And how appropriate is it for our confirmands tomorrow as they take those next steps in confirmation? The song is written to be flexible enough for situations in and outside of worship, and it's easily learned without printed materials. It's very short, so this is For Such a Time as This. So you might remember that. Very easy to sing, so you can sing it on the way up to communion tomorrow. Next, we will go to the hymn of the day, Lord, You Give the Great Commission. And this was written for the graduating class of 1978 from Yale Divinity School. And it was first sung at their baccalaureate service that year. Each of the 4 stanzas quotes something related to a specific mission responsibility. So check that out when you're singing it tomorrow. The tune is very sweeping, and it's somewhat reminiscent of For All the Saints, Sine Nomine, which we heard earlier. The tune was written in 1941 on a Sunday morning, as its composer was at Abbots Lee, and that's a village across the suspension bridge from Bristol. The tune name became Abbots Lee. The text author did have this tune in mind when he was writing the text, and it fits really, really well. This is Abbots Lee, or Lord, You Give the Great Commission. recognize it tomorrow. That's the jazz version. And last but not least, we are going to do the gathering hymn, Rise, O Son of Righteousness. And this hymn, somewhat unique, I guess, has 3 text authors. And all those verses were not written at the same time. One text writer was born in Moravia, the son of a carpenter, and he himself was a shepherd. The next one was born to a pietist family, son of a house painter, and he became a Lutheran pastor. And the third one was born at Gotha and studied medicine, but turned to theology in the end. So all those merged together, and this tune comes as a merger of Moravian and Lutheran traditions. So you might recognize it as At the Lamb's High Feast We Sing, but tomorrow it will be Rise, O Son of Righteousness. So that was a partita. I neglected to tell you that at the beginning. Partita, remember, is just variations on it. So 4 very different treatments of that particular tune. So hopefully you'll look forward to those tomorrow. There's some great hymns, but not necessarily the same text that we're used to singing. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll enjoy that. If you're going to join us in person, that will be at 8:30 and 11. The 11 o'clock service will be live streamed on our YouTube channel. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you again next week.